you're listening to Moviesucktastic.
On this motherfucking plane. Now we got drinks. Oh, stay free.
It all sounds like some bad movie.
Licorice Pizza. It was my son's, or my oldest, he keeps asking me, what are you reviewing this week? And I tell him, Belfast and Licorice Pizza. And as he's walking away, he goes, that sounds really gross. And I'm like, it has nothing to do with that. It's like no one is making a pizza with licorice on it. As a matter of fact, I ended up looking it up recently, but only because I was watching Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
Like literally the night that I watched Licorice Pizza. Like it was, the Fast Times at Ridgemont High was on first, then everyone went to bed, and then I watched Licorice Pizza. But there's a scene in Fast Times at Ridgemont High where they're in a Licorice Pizza record shop.
Right. So back
at the
up
mall.
So just to back up for anybody who's not familiar with it, the name of the title, which I think is a bad name for the film.
I think so. I do. I agree.
And it just points to why I don't like the film, but we're not there yet. But Licorice Pizza was a term used for LPs at the time, because LP, Licorice Pizza, and the fact that they're round and black. But it was also the name of a record store chain in San Bernardino.
Yeah, Southern California. Yep.
Right. So if you were around in the 70s in San Bernardino and you were involved in the entertainment industry, man, you're gonna love this fucking film.
It's gonna be a flat,
you're gonna get
a blast, a flash, or what is it? Blast from the past, as they say.
Yeah.
Blast from the past.
So I want to address this going forward because this is a writer/director that has his own style that he doesn't always do.
This is true.
He's not like what's his face,
Tarantino.
Well, I was thinking more
more like indie art house kind of.
Paul Thomas Anderson. No,
this is Paul Thomas Anderson.
The other one,
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
Yeah. Yeah, like Wes Anderson, like most of his films are in that style. There's
a guideline he follows, and he kind of sticks to it.
Paul Thomas Anderson, not so much. However, for Boogie Nights, his first big film.
Still to this day, probably, and I like other films that he's made. It's probably the best thing he's ever done,
without a doubt.
I mean, and I like There Will Be Blood. I like it a lot, but Boogie Nights.
I didn't want to see Boogie Nights, had no interest in it. I loved that film. That film was on the mark.
On point.
Perfect. Then he did Magnolia. Huge piece of shit.
He
just took random ideas that he thought were cool and shoved them into one 3-hour abortion of a fucking film.
We still have to review that.
Yeah, we do. After the Oscars, I think that should be our next review because I really want to go into detail on that one.
Well, we do have I forget what it is, but we do have a film queued up that we do have to do. That is on audio that we are doing, so we have to do it.
I'm not saying it has to be next eventually.
No, I know.
Short list.
Yes.
All right. So then Punch Drunk Love.
Yep.
Which I was disappointed in initially because I had the idea halfway through the film that it was going to end in a bloodbath.
Yeah,
and that appeals to me. But I'm okay with the film, how it ended. I like it, and I thought it was a great film.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Right. Okay, I didn't see There Will Be Blood.
Did
And I
we
didn't see.
did we see Punch Drunk Love in a theater, all of us
No.
together?
No, I watched it on DVD.
Okay, all right,
I have not seen There Will Be Blood.
very
Eventually,
good.
I want to read the book first.
Okay,
The Master I haven't seen, even though I want to.
heard
But then
that.
we have.
Heard that was good too. I heard that was very good too.
Yeah, I'm in. It's
Like
more-
Joaquin
Philip
Phoenix.
Hoffman.
Joaquin
Yeah.
Phoenix, not him, he didn't say anything, but as far as like Oscar snubs, like this is your best actor winner, he didn't win that year. And they're like, what the hell? This was truly the best performance that year. But he didn't get it.
No. So then there's Inherent Vice,
Yes.
which was a great adaptation. I thought it actually ended a bit better than the book.
Okay.
All right.
I haven't read the book. I like the film though.
All right, so I'm not a Paul Thomas hater,
Nope.
and he has. I think there's a lot of great stuff. Phantom Thread, we were both kind of unimpressed with.
Yeah,
think-
Phantom Thread. I mean,
Just typical like overindulgent art house film.
yeah.
It's good, but
I mean,
it's-
and it's Daniel Day-Lewis's last performance, or so he says. But he's
Yeah.
kind of stuck true to that. It's been like 4 years,
right.
5 years, something like that. 4 years, I think. But yeah,
So that leads us to Licorice Pizza.
yes,
Yes. Which follows Gary Valentine, a 15-year-old actor
yep,
who spends the whole movie hitting on a 25-year-old photographer, and they
She
get into
works-
hijinks.
she
in
works
Hollywood.
for she works for
eventually.
a photo.
Yeah, at the time, and eventually
Yeah.
she becomes and then a bunch of things happen, and then
This is
they
a-
finally hook up.
This is a frustrating movie to watch
Yes,
because
just like Magnolia. And
I
I'm
would
not
say
being
this is
smartass.
I would say this is more frustrating. I liked Magnolia. I know you didn't, but we are going to review it. We'll go into detail. But see, okay, I can sum this movie up quickly for you.
Yep.
Boy meets girl. Boy falls in love with girl. Girl kind of likes boy. Cat and mouse for 2 hours. Boy and girl fall in love. Done. That's it.
I could actually shorten it down a bit for you. Boy meets girl. Boy falls for girl. Girl cock blocks boy for 2 hours.
Well, I mean, he does the same thing to her at one point where it's like she's like totally into him at that point, and he's like going and he's trying to hook up with another girl.
I
On the waterbed that he's trying to sell.
yeah.
'Cause it's
Yeah,
like
so-
throughout this film, they have like these little side businesses. Like he does acting, he's trying to sell waterbeds. It's like they go into a political thing,
Now-
pinball, pinball arcade thing.
Now,
Yes.
fuck, you got me you sidetracked me. Let me have a sip of gin and gather my thoughts.
We were talking about.
Okay, so here's
okay,
the deal. The reason
okay.
I compared it to Magnolia is because I think it suffers from the same thing. Where Paul, now everybody in this film is like based on somebody else or is acted by a relative of a famous person.
Yeah.
In previous reviews, I've talked about in the incestual Hollywood praising. This film takes that to the nth fucking degree. And it's like every single person in this film is related to somebody, or has some relationship with Paul Thomas Anderson, that from that time period, from this era, these group of people. The whole thing is just a fucking reach around for Hollywood.
Right.
But on top of that, he does the same thing he does in Magnolia, where it's like, oh yeah, he had like the Gary Valentine, the guys. I don't give a fuck about any of their names, so I'm not even going through it. But the guy that played Gary Valentine, like apparently like all the stuff is, oh, these are stories he would tell about wacky things that happened to him. So like, oh yeah, that was good and that was good. So I'm gonna put this here and I'm gonna put this in here. And the problem is, good films like this, usually all these random weird things that happen still have are contextually connected.
Yeah.
And none of that is in here.
No.
that's my major problem with the film.
The kid that plays Gary, you know, that's Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's already losing his hair. Poor bastard.
It happens. Not to me, but it happens.
How old is this kid?
Now, my perfect example for you, I think you'll agree, is the whole arrest sequence.
Yeah.
So he's selling a waterbed at a convention, which I like the idea of like a young actor that's already got other hustles and dodges going. And again, it's based on a real person, so it's probably all true. I think like the beds had a different name back then. Like Soggy Bottom, I think was the original idea. I don't know.
Well, the original title of the film, Soggy Bottom,
which another bad title. So all right, we're good.
But you know what? I think Paul Thomas Anderson wrote that into the film a little bit with the girl Alana saying, "Soggy Bottom's a terrible name. It just sounds like people have shit their pants."
Right.
So I think,
which is probably why they didn't use it in real life. I
think that's why it was written into the movie.
Well, that too. Yeah.
So,
but so during that sequence, he's talking to. I don't even know if it was that one or no. It was a later scene when he's around people. I think it was like they were ready to do a show, something like that. But anyway, he's talking to somebody, and all of a sudden, two cops come up and just grab him and rush him out of the place into a police car, and they race him to the police station while the oh, I don't love you, but I'm gonna fucking follow you around everywhere woman chases him down. And it's like, oh, this is out of nowhere, and there's no one's talking, no one's saying anything. Wow, this is kind of cool. It's like, what's this gonna lead to? It didn't lead fucking anywhere. They take him there, and then they're like, and a guy like they drag out a guy with no shirt. I was like, that's not the guy, and they drag him back, and then they unhandcuff him, and he's like, oh, I guess I'll leave. And I guarantee whoever told the story, whoever this happened to, fucking hilarious the way they tell it. I guarantee. And in the film, it's a great scene, but then it's just so totally disconnected from anything. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and you're right. So when he gets nabbed, there was like some girl scantily clad on the mattress, the waterbed, to try and sell it. Oh yeah. And then Alana stops by, and he's like, "Here, would you like to lay down in the most comfortable blah 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 blah?" And then that's when they grab him, and it's like, whoa, yeah. But it's like out of nowhere. It's great. I mean, even like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Here's an example. A lot of weird, random shit happens to him, right? Yeah. That film doesn't feel disjointed because there's a flow to it, and I don't feel any flow with this film. It's very disjointed. Does the mother die at some point in this movie? Yeah. No. Because she was in the first act, and I don't remember seeing her ever again. No. I think he didn't really need his mom very much because he was trying to hook up with a 25-year-old. There's a scene with his mom where she's like, listen, I have to go to Vegas. I have to do whatever. Hotel. She was in a hotel business. And he's like, yeah, you can't go to the whatever thing. And it's like, oh, wait, why not? It's like, you need a chaperone. He gets her to do it. Yeah, press junket. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like coming of age stories. I'm not. Listen, I've said this before. I'll say it again. Stand By Me is the greatest coming of age film ever made, and that's it. I won't go past that. Yes. I'm not going to argue that. Sandlot is up there too. All right, now you're getting silly. Those are the two best ones. Okay. I'm just sidetracked again. The film frustrates me on that level. This is Paul. You said you don't like coming of age films, and that's when I interject. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I wasn't blaming you. Sorry. I don't like coming of age films, and I hate films where it's like, okay, so this is a soundtrack for the '70s. Good, we got that going. And then let's make sure that everybody else is like a nod to some other person. And I swear I saw one or two people from The Whitest Kids You Know in there. Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, it's just there's so much that this film is. It's another vanity project. This is for Hollywood. Yeah. This is all the this is all based on that producer guy that we all know and all the stories he used to tell. You get a kick out of it. Guess who I got playing? John Peters. Sam Peckinpah. Yeah, Tom Waits. Can you believe that? Yeah, this would be fucking awesome. Oh yeah, Sam. Yeah, let's get Sean Penn jump a fire. Yeah, and this it's the same thing. It's the same Punch Drunk Love thing. Where I'm seeing the setup, Like, well, this Sean Penn thing, it's like, oh, he's gonna fucking die. He's gonna crash into the fire. Like, when she falls off the bike, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna crash into a fucking fire. He's gonna burn. This is gonna be no. There's no payoff for anything that fucking happens in this film.
Yeah, and then Gary Valentine runs right towards her because he saw her fall off, and he's concerned. And then, like, why haven't they hooked up like 5 scenes earlier?
Because he's 15 and she's 25.
Yeah, but it doesn't stop that. Stop it from
saying,
happening at the end of the movie. They're still the same age.
Yeah, that's really the number one reason why they shouldn't, is because he's 15 and she's 25. I also don't think a 15-year-old should be running a pinball machine parlor, but that's just me.
True.
Yeah, I mean, this film is just dripping with we love this. Oh, don't you love this? It's just that schmarmy Hollywood. Aren't we so fucking weird and awesome?
Well, you know what's interesting? So after I watched it, like, I feel the exact same way you do. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why do I feel like this? I go, should I watch this movie again? Maybe I should watch this movie again. Like, that's what the conversations I'm having with myself. Mm-hmm. It's like, maybe I should give it another shot.
Well, I'm definitely going to watch it again. You know why?
Why is that?
Because Paul Thomas Anderson,
Uh-huh.
I when I said this is his like another successor to Magnolia, I meant it. I guarantee there's a 3.5 hour cut of this fucking film.
Well, what's the runtime? 2 hours, 13 minutes? Yeah, there's probably at least a 3 hour cut. I guarantee
there's going to be DVD release. It's going to be like a half an hour to an hour longer. I mean, just there's so many like dropped off things. Like you know he went fucking crazy with this.
Yeah. You never know.
I read, like, just to throw this out there, I read that the gas station scene with Bradley Cooper, and we're going to talk about Bradley, was the most expensive scene in the film.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, most of the scenes took place in a restaurant or a truck, so I can kind of see that.
Why is that the most expensive? It's
probably because it was a large far back, so they had to take over a whole block and all these vintage cars and stuff. So probably that. So. But yeah. So Bradley Cooper, that's another one that pops out of nowhere.
Yeah, and you know what? And you're probably right about an extended cut, because there's a scene that they are showing ad nauseum in the trailer where Bradley Cooper is like smashing like side mirrors on vehicles, and it's not in the movie.
Yeah, well, these 2 axes or whatever,
or like, some shit like that. It's not in the movie.
No. Well, it is briefly at the end during the credit sequence, like they show a clip of it, but but the scene isn't in the film.
Oh, I didn't even bother. I just, as soon as the credits rolled, I shut it off.
Oh no, well, I stayed there specifically because I kind of caught on during the films, like, wait a minute, these are all famous people. Otherwise, yeah, why are we standing here watching a radio disc jockey read a commercial for like a solid 2 minutes, unless this guy's somebody that we're supposed to be going, oh yeah, it's him.
Yeah.
So I went back and like, yeah, everybody's related to somebody. Everybody's somebody's fucking brother or sister, or Tim Conway's son is in this. It's just again, it's so incestual. That's why I stuck around for that. But yeah, so the gas shortage. Oh, it's man, I love reminiscing about the 70s. Remember the gas shortage? That was fun. Year I was born, 73. I knew I was in trouble from the beginning. The opening scene of this film is 5 teenage boys quaffing their 70s hair in a bathroom mirror. It's like, oh fuck. That's all this film's gonna be. Is like, look at the 70s, aren't they great? God damn it. But what I was gonna say is like, yeah, so their waterbed business goes broke because of the gas oil crisis, and they're delivering a waterbed to Barbra Streisand's house apparently.
Well, because John Peters was in real life, he was a hairdresser initially, hairdresser to the stars, nice haircut, hairdresser to the stars. It's like a little TLC on your own head, but anyway. He was dating, he might have been married, but Barbra Streisand.
He was dating.
But it was that doorway to Hollywood. Right. And he became a Hollywood, like, mega producer. Like, he was producing, like, Superman, and even produced Superman all the way up until the Man of Steel, because I think he has some sort of ownership stake in it. Like, he has to be listed as producer. So, like, did you ever watch the documentary, the Death of Superman Lives?
We reviewed it.
We reviewed the documentary? No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did. We reviewed the documentary Death of Superman, and also Jodorowsky's Dune.
Oh, I have no recollection of reviewing Death of Superman
we reviewed
Lives.
both. Yeah, we reviewed. Death of Superman.
Holy shit, I don't remember that.
We don't do documentaries often, so I can understand that.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I mean, you really get, and again, with this whole setup, you know, this is a situation where it's like Bradley Cooper's like, oh, I've heard the legends, and I met, I'd love to portray him in the film, and it's just, yeah. But I mean, now but I do like Bradley Cooper in this film.
Oh yeah, I mean, when he's at the gas station, your background is him holding the gas nozzle to that guy. He goes, "This is my nozzle now," and he's got his lighter up to him. It's like, all I have to do is pull this trigger and light you on fire.
Well, he didn't say it. He just said,
No. He didn't have to say it. He's like, this is my nozzle now. It was like, holy shit, dude.
But so when
take it down a notch.
But just to walk you through it, spoiler alert. So they meet him, and he goes psycho on Gary Valentine.
Right.
Acts like a real dick and threatens their lives if they mess up his house.
He threatens his little brother's life, too. He's like, I will choke him out right in front of you. I will kill him. I will strangle your brother right in front of you.
Again, Bradley Cooper, excellent fucking delivery.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Just, not really, like, not being ensconced in the legends of Hollywood. I don't know this guy. I don't know anything about him. So but watching him do it, it's really great. So he leaves, and he goes to see a movie, and they hook up a waterbed, and then they decide just to flood his house at random,
which never went anywhere.
Well, that's the thing. So they do that, and then they race away, but then they end up meeting him in the highway because his car ran out of gas.
Yeah. So
his house is flooding. They actually take him back to the house, and all this time you're just like, oh shit, this is just gonna escalate. And I'm like, oh, this is finally where it goes. I forgot this was Paul Thomas Anderson. I thought it was actually go somewhere. So I was like, oh, this is gonna get fucking crazy. This is gonna be, everything goes up in flames now, right? No. They drop him off to get gas, and then they hide the truck, and that's it. But and then he shows up later, though. And that's why you know there's probably 15 minutes with him that they just cut the fuck out. Yeah, and they probably had to for time. Well, they probably had to also because it had no fucking bearing on anything. Yeah, no. Well, the thing is, they Magnolia. Yeah, well, I think Magnolia was better. So Gary Valentine, he's filling the bed up, looks at Alana because he's still he's in love with her. He wants to impress her. Like that goes on the entire film, back and forth. Well, I don't think he does this to impress her. I think this is part. He is kind of a wild card. So this is part of his personality. Yeah, but also you could see the look on her face. She digs it. So yeah, I'm sure that's what I'm sure that's what spearheads it too. So he yes. So he So he disconnects the he disconnects the hose and they drop it and they get out of Dodge over there. And you're right. He runs out of gas and he yells at it's not the butler, but he's I guess the housekeeper. He's like, I forget his name. Call him John. He goes, ran out of gas, John. Real fucking nice move. And he throws the keys at him. Yeah. And then he gets in their truck. They have him take him to the gas station. Then they leave him. Right. They don't let him get back in because I'm assuming he was expecting a ride back to his car. But they go to his car and Gary smashes his windshield in. Yeah. And then they run out of gas. And then, of course, she has to, because it's all the way up on a hill, she puts it in reverse and basically reverses this truck all the way down the hill, back onto the main road, and does this kind of emergency brake K-turn thing where it spins the vehicle around. That'd be a bootlegger's turn. Bootlegger's turn. Very good. I like that. And then, end scene. Mm-hmm.
Nice
Yeah.
silhouette shot of them
Yeah, but
in the truck, and that's about it.
And then like the kind of weird cut to like the morning where they're gassing up, and then he's like breaking windows, and she's sitting on the curb. It's like there's so much of a disconnect. Like, is this even like the same scene?
Yeah.
There's a 4-hour cut of this fucking film somewhere, and I will watch it just so we can.
I mean, it might be a better movie.
Hey, again, Boogie Nights. But it's like, again, Boogie Nights had that same kind of thing where you had wacky stories based from reality.
Right.
But he weaved them. There was storytelling involved.
You know what I
They
think?
all led to something. They all meant something to each other. Like this whole this whole scene with Bradley Cooper doesn't mean anything to the film. The political stuff. She joins a political campaign and they reenact a couple scenes from Taxi Driver, and then that doesn't go anywhere.
No, everything
That's
just
like,
kind of.
Now she's gonna end up like there's gonna be like this guy's that strange. Here's another reason why I know this film's so fucking long. So the creepy guy that I almost mistook for somebody else from The Whitest Kids You Know, the creepy Kid Rock meth Kid Rock guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Who's standing outside the political place. He walks in with a bag and looks around, very suspicious. Yeah. Clearly Travis Bickle mentality. And they just like reenact the scene from Taxi Driver. They walk out and tell him to leave. I don't know if you saw, but later on, the politician she's working for has her meet him at a bar, and she thinks it's gonna be like a romantic thing. Turns out he needs her to take his gay lover home and pretend she's his girlfriend.
Right.
When they leave and that camera pans, that motherfucker that was standing outside is sitting in the restaurant.
I did see him. He was in the back. Yes, I did.
And then, even then, you're like, oh, there's no fucking way this isn't going to end in fucking blood.
Yeah.
But no, nothing. He doesn't come up again.
Yeah. Maybe there is a 3-4 hour cut.
There's got to be, because and again, it's not going to save the film though, because everything they cut because it doesn't matter. But the shit they left in still doesn't fucking matter. Nothing in this film matters. The guy speaking to his Japanese wife in a fake Japanese voice.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It was kind of like comic relief, but I'm like,
yeah, they got a little flack from the far left on that one.
Well, but it's a movie. It's like, stop.
I don't
care. It's a movie. But the thing is, it's like, it didn't make sense either.
No, exactly.
You know? It's like, I could understand if he does it, to get a laugh, but then the wife is actually in on it, and they kind of reveal that, then I would get why they would do it. Like later on, like she's like talking perfect English. It's like, okay, I fucking get it. She's in on it. But there's none of that. He's like, what do you think of? Is this a deal? It's like, what the fuck is happening?
It's not worth the punchline at the end.
No.
It doesn't bring... It's just another example of, how Hollywood's so wacky. Check this out. Put that right in there. Don't give a fuck. This whole film is a disappointment.
Yeah.
I actually wasn't expecting anything, but...
I actually was... Of all the movies nominated... This is one of the films I was looking forward to the most.
No, I had a bad feeling. I was like, oh no, Paul Thomas Anderson, coming of age. This is gonna suck.
I didn't think that way. I was more. I was more. Well, yeah. I was more positive. I was more positive about it.
Not this week. No, I'll be positive next week.
Next week.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing else I really want to highlight on the film.
No.
I've really kind of underlined the main things I had against it. But again, even beyond the whole Hollywood stroke fest, it's, even if you ignore that, it's a disjointed film that really doesn't tell much of a. I just, there's nothing there.
Yeah. So let's see what it's nominated for.
Oh yes.
It is only nominated for 3 Oscars.
Good.
Just 3. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what's interesting is it's nominated for Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Picture.
It gets nothing.
Yeah.
And likes it. It's an honor to be nominated.
Those are 3 major categories. They didn't think anything more of this movie to even give it some technicals. Mm-hmm. Best editing, sound, best cinematography. Like, got nothing else. Usually a movie like this gets rounded off a little bit. Nominated for 7, 6, 9, 8, 9 Oscars. It's like 3. That's it. 3. I don't think it has a chance at any of them.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if it walked away with original screenplay.
I wouldn't be surprised if it got something, but I really hope it doesn't.
But I think Belfast walks away with original screenplay.
And I think if they're going to give Best Picture to an incestuous Hollywood love fest, it's going to be West Side Story. And that's when I walk away.
Well, when we reviewed West Side Story, my theory was that if they do that, it'll be the first time ever that the same movie won Best Picture twice.
Right.
Because the original West Side Story won Best Picture. I just don't see that happening. I just don't think they care enough to give that movie Best Picture twice.
I don't know. They didn't have Latino subtitles. That was a stroke of genius. Obviously, I'm kidding. Fuck this. So, Licorice Pizza is currently rated at
7.5.
Fuck you. All right. In fairness, as much as I don't like the film, I really wouldn't push for anything lower than a 7.
I agree. No, I agree.
I mean, all the reasons I hate this film are valid. I don't even think I hate it. It annoys me.
No, I didn't hate it. I thought it was a very frustrating movie to watch.
It was definitely frustrating. Especially knowing Paul Thomas Anderson is okay. This is either going to be great or I'm going to be fucking pissed. And I'm pissed, but I don't hate the film. It's just.
Yeah.
It's just.
And I am gonna watch it again.
And I hate the fucking poster art too.
Oh yeah.
You just just say it's Boogie Nights 2. The fuck with it? Sorry, I'm getting bitter, but I'd say a solid 7.
7 is fine. I'm okay with a 7.
I figured.
Yeah.
Oops, I did 4. Never mind.
No, you didn't.
No, I'm kidding.
All right.
Yeah, it's just like Magnolia. It's a bunch of great individual scenes that just don't work together as a film.
To be determined. I liked it. I liked Magnolia. I know you hated it. We're going to review it.
But you understand what I'm saying.
I absolutely understand what you're saying.
Okay. All right. That's all I need.
And we're going to go in way deeper when we do Magnolia, of course.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have fucking slides.
You're going to have slides?
I'll be on the whiteboard, motherfucker. I'm going to prove this with math.
You're going to have a pie chart? You're going to You're going to pie chart me?
I'm gonna dude, PowerPoint. PowerPoint this bitch.
Slides and graphs.
There you go.
All right, let's end it. All right, everybody. Again, thank you. This concludes all 10 movies have now been reviewed, thankfully. Oscars, Academy, please never nominate 10 movies again. Stop it. It's 5 weeks of my life. Go to our website at Moviesucktastic.com. Download or listen to the show there. Go to iTunes. You can download or listen to the show there as well. Go to Facebook.com/Moviesucktastic. Look at anything that we post. Everything is there. You can also leave us email. The address is themovieguys@Moviesucktastic.com. If you want to leave us voicemail, it's 908-514-4470. If you would like to download our Moviesucktastic podcast player, it's Moviesucktastic.com/mst.apk. Just download it right onto your Android device and listen to the show that way. Or you can go download your favorite podcast player and just do a search for Moviesucktastic. We come right up. Do you have any words of wisdom, Mr. Wilson?
It's my nozzle now.
Oh, yeah, baby. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week when we review something that isn't nominated for, well, actually, Best Picture.
No,
Yeah, it'll be nominated, potentially nominated for something else. It just won't be nominated for Best Picture because we're done with those. Thank Christ, our Lord and Savior. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, there it is.